My husband was a devoted and loving husband, father, grandfather, brother, uncle, cousin, godfather, and friend. He was a pastor's pastor. He was a presiding senior bishop, bar none. He was a soldier in the United States Army and a soldier in the Army of the Lord. He served and triumphed the Church of the New Age for over 70 years. Last year, as we laid him to rest at his final services, I had prepared the homily, but as that time came, I laid it aside and I just spoke from my heart. I was not able to read what I had wrote. So today, as we honor his memory, I want to share his life and legacy and to just share what I had written a year ago in an abbreviated form. So my husband's faith was grounded in the belief that you could also be present in the body and present with the divine. This may not be everyone's belief, but today I seek to honor what my husband believed for nearly 70 years. My husband lived his life to the fullest. He had no desire to die. He believed in life and that one day death would be swallowed up in victory, as is recorded in the book of Revelation, the 21st chapter. Our task today is to begin our journey of releasing our hold, not on his memory, because that will never be erased, but as Jesus said to Mary as she experienced him after his resurrection at the empty tomb in John 20:17, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. In other words, grieving is never easy, but it is a necessary process in the cycle of life. Sometimes the process is even more challenging because of unresolved issues such as things left unsaid, unforgiveness, unrepentance, guilt. But today my husband would say to you, whatever your faith, if it is not his, stand on what you believe and allow that to strengthen you during this time. When I think about my husband's legacy and his life, there are three things that I want to share with you. But first, I want to just say to you that in memory of my husband, I would say to each of us to be the light, as Bishop was the light. When I reflect on one-word descriptions of my husband, what comes to mind is light, love, and life. The light of his life radiated love. He came into this world, I believe, as a beam of light, a star dropped out of time into time to light our way, to demonstrate the love of God in the most simplest way. You cannot find a more humbler man. He never desired title, position, fame, or fortune. He was content, working hard, serving, loving, and giving from his reservoir of love. He was a prince. He was born a prince. He became Triumph's prince. He was my prince. How do we release such a humble giant? How do we carry him with us at the same time without enshrining him like in a museum? How do we honor his memory without getting stuck in who he was to us in the past? I would ask each of us to consider the purpose for which we were born and to let our light, or the light of our lives, shine as he let his light shine. Some may ask, how can I be the light? Bishop Britto was bigger than life. I cannot be him. And you are right. None of us can ever be him, because he became the best version of himself. If you want to let your light shine, do likewise. Become the best version of yourself. So when I reflect on light, let me say just something about light. Light is something that makes vision possible, spiritual illumination too, and then truth. There are different schools of thought on the relationship between light and darkness. One of them, from our Western school of thought, is the idea that light and dark are oppositional and exist in terms of good or bad, or right and wrong, or goodness and evil. In more ancient Middle Eastern understanding, however, light and darkness are experienced in rhythmical alternation, and hence as being contingent on each other. Darkness is the mysterious, impenetrable ground and source of light, and light becomes associated with creation. It grants and is therefore a symbol for the primal condition of life: warmth, sensuality, intellectual and spiritual enlightenment. In other words, light and darkness are understood as the psalmist wrote in Psalms 139:12, that to God the darkness and the light are both alike to thee. There's a complementary relationship between the two. One is contingent upon the other. Darkness is what is called uncountable. It is undefinable except in the absence of light. Light is also considered uncountable, but not because it's immeasurable. Rather, darkness in its vastness cannot withstand the smallest ray of light. Light and dark can never, by definition, compete, because, as the writer of John 1 described, the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. All of us have a dark side. Our light does not shine because you have no darkness. Your light shines in spite of your darkness. Indeed, it is from your darkness that your light emerges. So what does all of this mean? When I think about my husband and the life he lived, we may remember the things he did for us over the years, the gifts he gave, his generous spirit, the ways in which he was there through many difficult times, sharing what he had with those in need, and we should remember this. But I would ask us to look a little deeper if we are to glimpse the essence of the man. His true worth wasn't in his giving, but in his being. He didn't do love, he was love. He didn't strive to be kind, he was kindness. He didn't merely pursue peace, his resolve was an inner peace. He lived from an open heart, one that was large enough to always have room for one more. It is not that he didn't feel pain, or didn't feel the heartbreak of life's vicissitudes, or that he didn't have a dark side. Indeed, from his childhood, he was confronted with death, war, and destruction. Life's difficult choices, but he never allowed what he experienced to close his heart to love. And somehow, some way, he always chose life. He chose to love, and thereby his light shined. The lesson for each one of us that I want you to take away is that one's heart must remain open. There's a saying we often quote here at Triumph. It's by a gentleman named Leonard Cohen. It says, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. You must know that only a heart that has been broken can truly love. When you live from an open heart, the light flows in you, through you, and out of you. The danger is that far too many of us seal off our hearts, close them, and work hard to continually patch up the cracks. And when we do that, we leave no room for the light to come through us. If we are to honor my husband, Bishop Britto's life, we must do three things. 1, live from an open heart. 2, always choose life. Always choose love. And 3, choose life. So 1, live from an open heart. When you are tempted to shut others out, make a choice to widen the gate and let them in. It takes courage to love from an open heart. 2, always choose love. In the face of life's most difficult challenges, choose love. That takes faith. Choose love in the face of fear. And then 3, choose life. One of my husband's favorite texts that he would preach from was Deuteronomy 30 and 19. And it says that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your seed may live. Every day we're faced with subtle and not so subtle choices for life or death. To choose life is tough because life is in the spirit, but we too often yield to our flesh. In plain English, what am I saying? I'm saying when faced with a choice, don't be a hater. Do not spread lies. Speak the truth or keep silent until you know the truth. Judge nothing before it's time. Always leave room at the table for those who are different from yourself. When given the chance to hide behind the mask of religiosity, refuse with every fiber of your being and be real. Keep it 100, as the young folks would say. Let's go back to understanding what it means to be a true friend, not a social media stalker. Keep your word. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Now, this one is a challenge for me. Let bygones be bygones. Let it go. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow will never come. All we ever have is today. This moment, the present. This is the gift. Live in the present. That is what my husband did. Don't let life pass you by. Live until you can't live no more. Be courageous. Do what feels uncomfortable. Experience new things. Open your mind to new possibilities. Seek to know the God that lives within you. Now, finally, my husband understood you will never please everyone, no matter how hard you try. And he used to say, people love you in the morning and hate you by the nighttime. So he lived his life to please God. He also used to say, I'm not concerned with how you treat me, but it matters to me how I treat you. He would tell us, trust God. He would say, I may fail you, but God will never fail you. I love my husband, and I know many of you did also, in your own way. And I know we want to honor his life. If we are to keep his memory alive, let us go forth shining the light that is within us. The light of love, of life, of hope, of new possibilities for better days. Of peace and harmony until the scripture and revelations become our new norm, where it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them. They shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. Neither be there any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Hold fast to life. Love from an open heart. Be the light. Ashe. Amen.
Pictures was taken on his celebration of his 92nd birthday. This is Julie and her sisters. bus and bring him home, and they stayed there together until I got off of work. His mom and dad came and got them. This is at our church in Youngstown, Ohio. A few years back, we had the children's day. He loves children. He loves young people. This is a service here. This is before we changed the place. This is a service we had here. This is your grandpa and grandma. This is how we used to look here. This is, we had Al Sharpton here.
Yes.
I forget what had happened. Some kid in Newark, I think, had got shot, killed, and Al Sharpton was here. And we hosted him here at the church. That was in the dining room before it started looking like it's This is how the pulpit used to be.
Yeah.
That was that area.
Over there.
Over here, that was right here.
Yeah.
Where we sitting as with abusers.
Right.
That's the podium that I had in the hallway. We
Yes.
saved it. We tore down we tore down the
chairs.
pulpit. And the chairs, we saved them in the hallway. That's Sister Gertrude.
Yes.
That's my Sister Brenda.
Yes.
He was a fun-loving person, a jokester somewhat too. Great sense of humor. That's my sister Beverly. That's
Yeah.
Gertrude, and me and my husband again. I think we had went to what's the place where you went in theater where they did the plays? No, one up in Pennsylvania, I think.
Oh, I know what you're
Sight and
talking about.
Sound Theater. That was Sight and
Oh,
Sound Theater.
wow.
Yes. The one on the left is at our Brooklyn location. The one on the right is at our home. That's our dog, Comet. Well, it's actually my husband's dog. It became his dog.
Right.
I brought the dog for my grandson, and I brought it to the house. I didn't tell them. And my husband said he didn't want no dog there. He's going to be the only dog in the house. But as it turned out, he and Comet became best of friends.
Wow.
And Comet still mourns for him. Comet, he don't care two hoots about me. But he loved they were bosom buddies. That was his dog. This was at my niece's wedding the year before my husband passed. He had lost some weight, but we went out, we got all dressed up. This is after his service, and we had a banquet hall. We had all family and friends that came after the service. That's Floyd's wife on the right. Those are his two goddaughters, Nisi and Paris. That's his nephew and niece on the left and right, and those are close family friends in the middle. That's his sister's son, baby sister's son. He outlived all his siblings. He was one of six, the middle child of six. He outlived everyone.
He always looked big ass people. Yeah. And he moved fast too. God bless.
He survived World War II, the end of World War II, the Korean War, and he was in the reserve. We were in St. Lucia, 2020, January 2020. The last trip we were able to take away. Didn't know the pandemic was coming. And then 2 months later,
And that was it,
we were
shut
grounded.
down.
That was it. We
Yeah,
were
that
going
was it.
nowhere.
That was it.
This is in Youngstown, Ohio. We went to see Mother Allen.
Wow, okay. Beautiful.
I think it's one more. Yeah, this was here. That's my sister Beverly behind. I don't know what the occasion was, but I don't know whether he was preaching or speaking after someone else. This was at Sight and Sound. And this was in St. Lucia.
Mm.
All right. We're going to ask if folks would come back in. We got just a few minutes. You can turn your cameras back on. You can turn your sound back on. And anyone that would like to do some brief reflections, you go right ahead. Come on, Julie. Come on. Julie's going to start off.
Hi. So, most I think about Brett is when his song was "He Touched Me."
Yes.
That was his song, and he could sing it too. He touched me in all my soul. Oh,
Oh, what joy
Lord,
fills my soul.
something happened,
And now I know
he touched me.
and made me whole.
And I remember him telling us all the time about his, his ability when he was in the war, and he said that that's when he did his conversion. He asked God if he just delivered him from this war, that he would serve him, and he was a soldier. And I have a poem. It says, "A soldier is not a poet who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to protest. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, whom coffin is often draped by the flag, but who allowed us to enjoy this life of freedom we have." So I just thought in terms of, people, we said it's Veterans Day, and we sometimes take for granted our ability to have what we have, but all I wanted to reflect is basically Britt was just like all that he can be as a man, and I think any of a young man should strive to even be a piece of what he had, for providing for his family and being humble and just being upright. So that's my reflection of Britt, and like I said, his song was "He Touched Me," and thank you.
Thank you, Julie. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Lori's going to say something here.
I wrote this earlier on Facebook, reflecting on the year. 1 year ago today, I lost the most influential man in my life. I would be lying if I said that this time that has passed was easy. But I know without a doubt my papa's work has exceeded himself. And our God in heaven is beyond pleased with the angelic spirit of his presence. As well as we all wish he could have stayed with us a little longer. I've come to terms with the fact that his work here in this realm is done. And his work in the spiritual realm has begun. Papa, I miss you every day, and I hope I'm making you proud of the young lady and woman that you raised. And and that I am becoming. I love you far beyond any word that can be spoken. And thank you for loving me unconditionally. Until we meet again, in your words, God will be with us. Continue to rest properly.
All right. Glory. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yes, we want to say something. Not okay. I'll go. Okay, I'm at. Okay. We would just like to thank you for sharing that with us with your husband. We didn't know your husband, but through you we feel love. We would just like to give thanks for you, Miss Saundra, for opening up these doors for us and having a place to call our second home and having a new trial family, which is you guys. Really appreciate it for opening this door, and we give thanks, very thanks to you, Miss Saundra, and we love you, and we appreciate everything you do for us. And Miss Julie, you too, and your husband also too. We part of the Triumph family. We are the Triumph family. So, you know, you lost someone, but you also gained a couple of new family, and that's us. And we here, and we love you as always. And I'm sorry, Lori. I love you, Lori.
I just want to say thank you, Ms. Saundra. Thank you for allowing us into Triumph. I didn't know the pastor, but you know, he's a great man. And he had a great daughter, a great wife. And thank you, brother. Please want to thank you so much, you know what I'm saying? Due to the fact I lost my mother to cancer, stage 4. And, you know, this is like my second home. And I just want to thank everybody that's a part of this. Miss Julie, my husband, thank you for loving me.
Oh, Professor, you're welcome.
And
Oh, well.
the people that joined, thank y'all for joining. Y'all beautiful. And I'm gonna let my brother speak. You know, Gary, you know, but Miss Gary, you just use your story. You just understand. You should really
So true. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm in the family, and I just want, you know, I want to thank you for being there, you know, opening your doors to us. You know, like this is something new to me. Like I'm not used to, you know, walking in spots and people showing me love like that. Like I'm used to, you know, people neglecting me and all that. And, you know, you was there for me like a second mother that I ain't got. And, you know, I just want to thank you, and I understand the husband, but he'll always be here with you. No matter what steps you take, he's here with you right now. Whatever steps you take, he always gonna be there with you.
Forever.
Really, your kids, you know, your daughter, grandkids, you know, I love y'all, and I just want to thank you for being here, opening your doors.
Love you all. My husband would have loved you deeply. I have no doubt about that.
I never, ever see honoring a great man without honoring a great woman. Like, that's hand in hand. There's no such thing as having a great man and not having a great woman right there. So if he is who you say he is, then that is also a reflection of you and your family too. So, gratitude from all of us, especially my family. Told you, we were just walking by, you know, and immediately that from that first day, come in, get something to eat, feel at home, welcome. I'm like, what is this? What did I just walk into? So I'm thankful tremendously. I wanted to read something to you. It's a couple stanzas or whatever, but I'm only gonna read 3 of them. It deals with death. It's from what's called the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's sometimes called the Circle 7. It's a small pamphlet. I really get turned off sometimes by religion, but this opens, it reads like poetry, and it's something that really is easy to comprehend. I'm just gonna read a little bit. It's a chapter on death. It's chapter 4. It's called Death and Burial Because of Death.
Yeah, do it.
You got the food? Delivery?
After the brother.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the key part right here that touched me that I want to share with you. This line right here. And John was deeply grieved, and he wept. Matheno said, "It is not well to weep because of death. Death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human bulb to the earth, that it may sail on smoother seas." No language can describe a mother's work, and yours was tried and true, but she was not called hence until her tasks were done. The calls of death are always for the best, for we are solving problems there as well as here, and one is sure to find himself where he can solve his problems best. That, I just want to read that last line, that calls of death are always for the best, for we are solving problems there as well as here. And one is sure to find himself where he can solve his problems best. It is selfishness that makes one wish to call again to earth departed souls. Then let your mother rest in peace. Just let her noble life be strengthened and an inspiration unto you. And I know we're honoring your husband, but the text is about, yeah, so just make the connection. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Miss Saundra. We love you.
All right.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get a picture. A group shot. Yeah.
Group shot. I'm gonna give you a
All right, so lines up. All right.
Right.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. Thank you. All right. All right, so if there's anyone else that would like to share, we didn't hear from the Zoom room, just go on and unmute and go ahead.
He touched me. Whoa, he touched me. And all the joy has flooded my soul. Something happened, and now I know Jesus touched me, and he made me whole. He touched me. Whoa, he touched me, and all joy has flooded my soul. Something happened, and now I know Jesus touched me, and he made me whole.